Now, let's go to our, what we call euphemistically our smart board. It's actually an interactive map, and there on the left is Dan Matheson, CTV's Dan Matheson. Hi, Dan, who's joined us now, and Lieutenant Colonel Tom Christensen, who's been with us earlier in the afternoon.
Cruise missiles, Lloyd, we know 40 were launched yesterday, 70 launched today, some from the Red Sea at targets not only in Baghdad, but in the southern part of Iraq, and they were also launched from the Persian Gulf.
Right, exactly. They came in both directions. In addition to the naval-launched cruise missiles, we have aircraft that have proceeded into the Iraq area from both Saudi Arabia and also other areas. So it's a multi-aviation type of assault at this point.
The other big development today is the start of the land war. Now, we've known for some time that there's been this huge buildup here, Tom, in the most northern part of Kuwait. We have a mixture of U.S. forces and British forces. Tell us what's been going on here.
Most significantly, and only recently, we know that U.S. Marines and English forces have moved into the Basra region. The first town inside Iraq has been reported to be captured. The units here have moved up to the ready line and are waiting for orders, which in all probability will proceed perhaps this evening. We can expect that while combats occur here, those units would immediately head toward the city of Baghdad.
Now, what's happened so far today is that they've taken the only port that Iraq has in it. We're not really sure how to say it, but it's spelled Qasr. And we don't know how significant that is. How much would they be depending on this port to import material? There is a military airport right here, right next to the rail yard, so we could expect to see some activity there. If folks are not familiar with Baghdad, just in general terms, the old part of the city is up here. This is the downtown area with commerce, government buildings. This is the university. There aren't many people down here. And this is very industrial and an oil refinery. Now, tell us a little bit about the airborne, because one of the interesting things right now is we know that the 101st is in Kuwait, but nobody knows where the 82nd is.
Let's take a look a little bit at the military, first of all, of the Iraqi army. We've got 50,000 Republican Guard folks. They're ringed around Baghdad. We don't think they're going to be probably the force that would fight, except for north of Baghdad. One division probably of that Republican Guard could meet that air assault formation.
Now, why do we differentiate between that 50,000 and this number here?
Well, the 15,000 Special Republican Guards are especially key because it's those 15,000 that probably Saddam Hussein can rely upon the most. We're already hearing reports of some dissension within the regular Republican Guard forces.
Now, to get back to something I asked you just a moment ago, what about the airborne, the 82nd? How come we don't know where these people are?
Well, that's a mystery, obviously, and that would lend itself to perhaps being in the location that we said in Jordan or just south of Jordan, being able to move into those isolated airstrips. It's not really a complete division. It's only one brigade. It's about 5,000 soldiers there.
Because the rest of them are in Afghanistan.
There's one whole brigade in Afghanistan right now.
Now, there has been a huge buildup, as we've mentioned time and again, right here in the northern part of Kuwait, of Allied forces. But they have now moved into Iraq. Tom?
Especially British forces and Marines have moved into the Basra area. This is the first attack that crosses the border, and the rest of the forces are waiting. The rest of the forces are very, very important, obviously, because they will probably conduct the main attack that will lead to Baghdad. Until they meet resistance, they're going to stay that way.
Okay, we want to take a little closer look now at Baghdad. What we have heard, and we've seen pictures, that the entire, this is, by the way, the business government area of the city. The entire west bank of the Tigris has been basically blanketed in smoke, and that's because missiles have been hitting targets in this part of the city.
Not only in that part of the city, Dan, but also in particular areas, particularly palaces, as we see right here, Republican Guard headquarters, and other major agencies close to the river, very, very highly political targets as well as military targets.
Now, we've been hearing reports of Saddam Palace being attacked. This is one of his big ones.